Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, The Science of Krishna, Canto 3, The Status Quo, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, as enunciated by Kapila, the son of Devahuti. Text number 36. Mrityudvam Katinatvam Cha Saityam Usnatvam Eva Cha Etat Sparshasya Sparshatvam Tatmatatvam Namaskvataha. Mridutvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etad sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatritvam nabhasvataha Mridutvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam Tamadratvam nabhasvataha Mridutvam katinatvam cha Sajam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam
Mridutvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha
Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha
Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha
Etat sparshasya sparshatvam
Etat sparshasya sparshatvam
Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha
Mridutvam
Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etat sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mrutvatvam katinatvam cha Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha Etas sparshasya sparshatvam Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha
Mridutvam katinatvam cha
Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha
Shaityam ushnatvam eva cha
Etat sparshasya sparshatvam
Etat sparshasya sparshatvam
Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha
Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha.
Mrudutvam katinatvam cha.
Vidutvam katinatvam cha.
Shaitvam ushnatvam eva cha.
Saityam vishnatvam eva cha.
Etas parshasya sparshatvam.
Etasparshasya sparshatvam.
Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha.
Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha. Vidutvam softness.
Hardness. Cha and Shaityam, cold. Ushnatvam, heat. Eva, also. Cha and Etat, this. Sparshasya, of the subtle element touch. Sparshatvam, the distinguishing attributes. Tad matratvam, the subtle form. Nabhasvata, of air. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Softness and hardness and cold and heat are the distinguishing attributes of touch, which is characterized as a subtle form of air. Purport. Tangibility is the proof of form. In actuality, objects are perceived in two different ways. They're either soft or hard, cold or hot, etc. This tangible action of the tactile sense is the result of the evolution of air, which is produced from the sky. Translation again. Softness and hardness and cold and heat are the distinguishing attributes of touch, which is characterized as a subtle form of air. Dhanavar Maharaj, we would love to hear your comments on Srimad Bhagavatam, if possible. Om Jnana Tibrandasya Jnana Gina Shalakaya Chaksha Umlitamena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this is the science of material nature. This is the actual science of evolution. It's not theory, as what Darwin proposed, a theory. He wasn't sure, but he was guessing on his evidence from his imperfect senses that the species gradually evolved. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, his theory is false. Bhagavatam says that all the species were produced at once. And 8,400,000 species, the exact numbers is there in the Vedas. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. It's scientific, it's not theory, it's factual. And Prabhupada gave one lecture in Paris, France, where he quoted from the Bible. I believe it was the book of John, where he was quoting the book of John. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." So sound is the beginning of the material creation. And at one time, somebody asked Krsna Swami, "How have you developed Nivrindavan so wonderfully?" And Krsna Swami replied, "This is the result of sound vibration, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai, Shri Gaura-Nitai." So the Krishna consciousness movement has expanded from the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, from the names of God. So sound is the beginning. And from sound comes the ether, and from ether comes air. From the subtle to the more, gradually more and more gross. From the air comes fire, from fire comes earth. From fire comes water, from water comes earth. And touch is a subtle form of air. Objects are either soft or hard, or cold and hot. And the perfection of touch is to touch the lotus feet of spiritual master or Krishna's lotus feet. These lotus feet are very soft, like lotus flowers. And the gopis were in anxiety because they thought of Krishna herding the cows in the forest where there are many thorns and pebbles on the ground that could hurt Krishna's soft lotus feet. And in thinking this way, the gopis would cry in anxiety for Krishna's well-being. And at one time, one of the mental sons of Brahma, his name is Bhrigu Muni, he was deputed to see who is actually exhibiting pure goodness, either Vishnu, Brahma, or Shiva. And when he went to Lord Vishnu, after all, Lord Vishnu was reclining on his serpent bed, and he was being massaged by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. And impudently, Bhrigu Muni touched his foot on Lord Vishnu's chest to see what his reaction would be. So this is a physical offense. There are three kinds of aparads. There's mental aparad, there's aparad of speech, and there's aparad of physical touch. So this is the worst kind of aparad is physical aparad. But Lord Vishnu was so tolerant, he praised the Brahman. He says, "It is my good fortune that you come to see me, because your lotus feet purify all the places of pilgrimage, and you have placed your lotus feet on my chest, and my chest is so hard, and your lotus feet are so soft that I'm afraid that you have injured your lotus feet. So let me massage your feet." So this proved that Lord Vishnu is in mode of pure goodness, Sattva Sattva. He's not tinged by modes of passion or ignorance. He's in pure transcendental consciousness. And in offering foodstuffs to the Lord, some foodstuffs are supposed to be offered cold. For example, sweet rice, which is rice cooked in milk and sweetened with sugar. This preparation should be offered cold, because the colder the sweet rice, the more palatable it is. And other foods like ordinary rice, plain rice, should be offered hot. And Prabhupada trained us to not to reheat prasadam, because this is an offense to prasadam, and also it's unhealthy to eat reheated foods, even if they're prasadam, and it changes the nature of the foodstuffs. And also I've heard on YouTube, scientists are now realizing that reheating food is one of the causes of disease, including cancer. So the scientists are now coming to understand what Prabhupada and the previous acharyas have been saying this for millions of years. And Text 37 is also very nice. Chalanam vyuhanam praptir netritvam dravya sabdyaho surendriyanam atmavan vayu karma bilakshanam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The action of the air is exhibited in movements, mixing, allowing approach to the objects of sound and other sense perceptions, and providing for the proper functioning of all other senses. Purport. We can perceive the action of the air when the branches of a tree move, or when dry leaves on the ground collect together. Similarly, it is only by the action of the air that a body moves, and when the air circulation is impeded, many diseases result. Paralysis, nervous breakdowns, madness, and many other diseases are actually due to an insufficient circulation of air. In the Ayurvedic system, these diseases are treated on the basis of air circulation. If from the beginning one takes care of the process of air circulation, such diseases cannot take place. From the Ayurveda as well as from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clear that so many activities are going on internally and externally because of air alone. And as soon as there is some deficiency in the air circulation, these activities cannot take place. Here it is clearly stated, Nitratvam Dravya Shabdyaho. Our sense of proprietorship over action is also due to the activity of the air. If the air circulation is stifled, we cannot approach the place after hearing. If someone calls us, we hear the sound because of the air circulation, and we approach that sound or the place from which the sound comes. It is clearly said in this verse that these are all movements of the air. The ability to detect odors is also due to the action of air. Donovan Maharaj gave a nice example of how things happen from the subtle to the gross. He again gave the example of a skyscraper. First of all, a skyscraper is conceived in the mind of a person. And from that perception of the mind, a architectural drawing is made, a two-dimensional drawing, and then a model is formed. A model is a three-dimensional representation of the skyscraper, and then the contractors are approached for supplying materials and labor and so on, and gradually the skyscraper in the gross form takes place, but it all starts from the subtle form, from the mind. So mind and desire are the subtle sources of creation. And in Bhagavad Gita it says that the patriarchs of the universe, like the seven sages and before them the four mental sons of Brahma, they are created from Krishna's mind without the help of a woman. So this is the wonderful characteristic of God's creation. And this is very scientifically explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the Bible, it's explained also that God created everything, but how God created, it's described in detail very nicely in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures. It says that paralysis, nervous breakdowns, madness, and many other diseases are actually due to an insufficient circulation of air. I wasted 4 years of my life in university trying to study psychology, but at the end I was very disappointed because the professors of psychology had insufficient knowledge, and I was disappointed in their character. Like in their elementary school, in the middle school, and high school, there was dress code, both for the students and the teacher, and there's no smoking allowed. But in the university, I saw the teachers used to smoke in the classrooms, and the class would fill up with tobacco smoke, and it was horrible. And I switched my major from forestry to psychology because I wanted to research the origin of stuttering, because I was suffering from a stuttering problem my whole life. And my mother and father sent me to speech therapists from when I was about 6 years old. I was going to speech therapists to try to cure my stuttering, but all these so-called experts in stuttering couldn't do anything to help me. So I majored in psychology to try to find out what is the cause of this stuttering. And there's one PhD, he was supposed to be a world authority on speech therapy, and he himself was unable to stop his speech impediment. So I was disappointed in the university, because actually there's no knowledge in the universities. They're simply on the growth platform. They have no knowledge of the soul, and they have no knowledge that actually all the activities of our bodies are controlled by the demigods. According to the Vedas, the speech is controlled by the demigod, and due to my past sinful actions, I was told that in my past life I was a liar, so in this life I'm being punished for my sinful activities by not being able to speak properly. Even the actions of our eyelids, the blinking of our eyelids, are controlled by a certain demigod. There are 33 million demigods, and they're controlling everything. They're the source of the air also. The air is supplied by demigods. And in Bhagavad Gita, it says that the air is the representation of the demigods, because the air is all-pervading. And it's also said that the air is the breath offered as oblation. The air is one of the 8 separated energies of the Lord. The air is one of the 5 great elements. And the air is compared to the soul. The air is generated from ether, and the air generates fire. And Krishna is the outgoing and incoming air. And the air is suspended to prolong life in Kumbhaka Yoga. And in this body there are 10 kinds of air. And the system of yoga by Patanjali is meant to control this air in a technical way. It's called pranayama. And at the time of death, if the life air is fixed between the eyebrows, the yogi can attain the supreme destination. But in Bhakti Yoga, if one is fully engaged in Krishna's loving service, there's no need to try to control the bodily airs, because everything is adjusted by Bhakti Yoga, and at the end, Krishna guarantees his entrance into the spiritual world, a place of complete happiness from whence, once going, the living entity never returns to this miserable world. And those who are sailors, they're always conscious of the movements of the air. On this planet, the air is moving from the west side to the east. And there's one area in the Atlantic Ocean called the Sargasso Sea, where there's no wind. And Christopher Columbus, when he was sailing to try to reach India, accidentally he came to this Sargasso Sea, and he was stranded there, and he wrote in his diary that I fear that I will stay here forever because there's no wind and there's seaweed here, this golden brown seaweed. It's so thick that this ship can hardly move. But somehow he escaped this Sargasso Sea. And the sailors are always conscious of the movement of the air, its direction and its speed. And we could see, although air is a subtle element, we could see the air moving the branches of a tree, or when one is sailing a boat, one could see a gust of wind coming by studying the surface of the water, and he could see that a gust of wind is coming toward the boat. And also the moving air also creates sound. If anyone has ever been in a hurricane, you know that when the hurricane starts, it's a roaring sound, low pitch, and as the velocity of the wind increases, the pitch gets higher and higher. And when the air is blowing over 100 miles an hour, it makes a high-pitched screaming sound that's very fearsome. I was in Calcutta in the year 2009. I was at the Hare Krishna temple in Dum Dum. They have a preaching center with Jagannath deities there, and they have a Jagannath Ratha Yatra every year. And Jai Pataka Maharaj also attends that Ratha Yatra parade in Calcutta. And I was there. It was around May 30th in the summer season, and Hurricane Isla came and hit Calcutta. And outside there were trees falling down, power lines were falling down. People were getting crushed by trees and getting electrocuted by power lines. But inside the temple, we were safe because, by the grace of Krishna, most temples are strong buildings and they're resistant to the forces of the air. Any comments or questions? Magadari Prabhu?
So, I really like that you mentioned that the development of the New Vrindavan community was accredited to the sound vibration of Hare Krishna. And actually there's another similar point that is made by Srila Prabhupada in the song book of the Vaishnava Acharyas, that, or maybe it's one of his disciples that made the point, Achyutananda, that the bhajans, all the different bhajans, which are expressing certain, emotions in devotional service, those are all also expansions of the Hare Krishna mantra. And of course all of those moods and and feelings and of service are actually inside the mantra also. That's why that's the best prayer. And then another thought was that in relation to the material world even, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says there's nothing but Hare Krishna. And you started with that Prabhupada quoted from the Bible about, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word was with God, the Word was God. So it's really amazing, and the practical takeaway is that if we hear from devotees, we can hear some mundane sound, music, or some mundane news and things like that. Now, we may be able to get some information from those and then improve our service, but the sound vibration quality might affect our consciousness unless we're very strong, of course. But if we hear Hare Krishna mantra and bhajans, especially from Srila Prabhupada, his lectures and his books, then it's really purifying. And if Prabhupada made a comment about spreading it very loudly, like he wanted something about like the Isha Upanishad to be like blasted over a loudspeaker or something like that. I think I remember hearing about that. Anyway, so we have to go on spreading this wonderful vibrations, and that will rebuild the Vedic or the Krishna conscious society. So thank you for allowing me to comment. Hare Krishna.
Yes, and yesterday you were talking about the sound of silence. This is the title of a song by Simon and Garfunkel from the 1960s. And in the song they were singing, I'm empty, I'm aching, and I don't know why. So this is a popular song because in the 60s it was a time of American prosperity, and many Americans could identify with this song. And if there's insufficient circulation of air, madness results. So in this material world, everyone is more or less a madman because he doesn't know his identity. In one of the universities, I saw there was a big sign in the classroom. They were training teachers in the university, and the sign said, "Teaching is not what you do, teaching is who you are." So in both assumptions, they're false, because teaching is an activity of the body, and the body is made of material nature. And from Bhagavad Gita we understand that I'm not the doer. In the illusion, I'm thinking I'm sitting here commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam, but actually I'm not doing anything. Simply this material body is acting. And I'm simply a passenger on this chariot of the body, just like there's a nice picture in Bhagavad Gita. It explains everything in one picture. How the senses are working, how the mind is working, how the soul is witnessing, and how the intelligence is driving. Everything is explained very nicely in all the Vedic literatures. So madness, in Kali Yuga, people are becoming more and more mad, and American mental illness is increasing. And it says here is a result of an insufficient circulation of air. So anyone who thinks I'm this body, I'm an American, I'm an Indian, I'm a Brahmin, I'm a sannyasi, I'm a Shudra, he's more or less crazy, because these are all temporary designations, and our real identity is, according to Lord Chaitanya, I'm the eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the maintainer of the gopis, Krishna. And the other identification is faulty. Okay, thank you for patiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It's time for the Sankirtan festival.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so this week we have 4 reported book distributors. Haribo. Actually, make that 5. Haribo. Okay, coming in 5th position with 1 small book and 1 Maha Big book for a total of 2.25 book points. Rapugna Das. Haribo. And in 3rd and 4th position with 2 pamphlets, rather, no, I think maybe we don't have the points calculated here, so you did 1? Great, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Here we go. So here we have one additional book distributor with 1 medium book for 0.5 book points. Bhakti Caleb. Haribo. And so that was 6th. We had 5th. And in 4th position with 4 small books, 1 medium book, 1 big book, and 1 Maha book for a total of 4.5 book points. Bhakta Javier. Haribo. And in 3rd and 2nd position with 2 pamphlets, 3 big books, and 1 Maha big book for a total of 5.2 book points. Jai Keshuvadas and Radhastali Dasi. Haribo.
Anyway, I'll send it to you later.
I have a book score right here.
Oh, you do?
And in 1st position with 1 pamphlet, 1 small, 1 medium, 5 big and 8 big books for a total of 21.85 book points. Jagannath Das, Haribo! Okay, please give your highlight, Prabhu.
My highlight was this Friday when we went to Crossroads. It was towards the end of the night, and there was one guy that I flagged down, and I told him that I don't know what I told him, but I gave him a compliment, and he took the bait, so to speak, and we started talking about I started talking about, it was Krishna book, and I started talking about it. I told him that if you read it before you go to bed, you'll have spiritual dreams, and he was so he was so interested in that. That really got him, and but he told me that I asked him because he looked like a biker. He had this T-shirt where it was like skulls and stuff like that, and he had tattoos on his neck. He had a cross under his eye. So I asked him, "Are you a biker?" Because either that or he's in a gang. So I asked him, "Are you a biker?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm a biker." And he goes, "Yeah, I actually died. I think either once or twice." And no, he said just once. He said, "I actually died one time on my bike, and the ambulance was luckily right next to me, so they were able to pick me up and bring me back to life." And it was a really interesting distribution, this one. And he said he's actually Christian. So he asked me if there was anything that had to do against Jesus Christ. I said, no, there's nothing against Jesus Christ. And then he handed it to his girlfriend. He said, "Babe, hold this." And she was looking at the back of the book, and I don't know if there's like a section in the back of the like, you know how they have the summary of the book in the back of the book. So she was looking at that, and I don't know if she saw a Putana like description or something like that, but she said it says witch right here. And I was like so concerned. I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't give it back, because I really want him to take it. And so, but he ignored her. He just went on and gave me $10 for the Krishna book. So that was close call, and it was really interesting distribution. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so now we have Radha Stalidasi and Jai Keshwa in second position. Would you like to give a highlight, Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My highlight is from the first Friday Harinam, this past Friday. It was really nice because my husband was talking to this lady for quite some time, and then she was walking away, and Bhakta Caleb, he gestured for me to gift her a garland, and so I did, and she was so happy about it, and we were talking, and we had so much in common. And then she was like, "Yeah, I'm really into yoga philosophy, or just philosophy in general." And I was like, "Really? Like, why don't you take one of these books?" And she was like, "Well, let me see." And so it was a really nice, like, team effort. My husband and Dr. Caleb and I. She ended up taking in Science of Self-Realization. She wanted the Bhagavad Gita also, but she just couldn't decide which one, so she took that one. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
I think it was at the beginning of the week. We were at the park, and there was 3 people walking by, and I approached them, asking if they familiar with yoga. They say, "Oh yeah, we want to learn. What you have?" And I showed them the books. I really wanted to take the higher taste, but they insisted on the yoga book, and it was kind of interesting because we chat for a few minutes, and I don't think they understand what yoga means, but it's kind of popular, kind of hip. So they took the yoga book, and she seems really excited about it, she wanted to go places. So I was kind of happy that hopefully that will help her.
So then we had, who was there else? Bhakti Caleb? And Rupugna. So, yeah, I don't have a highlight for Rupugna, but here's Bhakti Caleb.
So I don't remember what day it was, but we went out on Harinam the last couple days. I think it was Saturday, and we were, Prabhu had already gone to get the van, so we were basically going to be leaving in the next few minutes. And it was just Jagannath, Javier, and I at the table doing kirtan. And this guy walks up. He had a green shirt representing which team for the soccer games, I don't know. They said he was from South America. He told us his name, but I forgot it. And so he walked up and said, "Do you mind if I take a video?" And we're like, "No, of course not." And I was like, "But you got to chant with us." So I gave him the card, and he goes, "What am I chanting?" And he goes, "It's okay. I just want to know." And I was like, "These are like the holy names of God. We believe if you chant any of the bona fide names of God, that's very sacred, auspicious." And he's like, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, okay." So then we slowed down the beat a little bit, and we chanted with him, and he went through the mantra multiple times, and then we stopped, and he was like, "That's amazing." And I asked him, "Have you gotten any of our books?" And I pulled out the On Chanting Hare Krishna, and he looked at it and he liked it, and he was like, "I don't have any cash." And it's like, I said, we do the online stuff, Cash App and all that. And he was like, "Okay." He goes, "Well, I have somebody else's phone on me right now, so I can't actually do it, but if you let me take a picture of the QR code, I promise I'll give you $20 when I get home." And so I was like, "Okay, sounds good." So, Transcendental Book Distribution, Key.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.